Hello again. Time for another 20 questions video, and today we're going to be doing 20 questions all about PhatPhish. So what is PhatPhish? Well, PhatPhish, the product, is basically a piece of computer software. It runs on any version of Microsoft Windows, and it gives you a view of a virtual guitar neck, and it allows you to visualize scales or chords, arpeggios, in various different tunings and so on, to help you learn where the notes are for various scales. There's loads and loads in it, but more features than there's time to go through just a quick video like this. But there is a series of videos on my YouTube channel, which I'll put a link to down in the information section there. Various tutorials showing you how to use PhatPhish, so from there you can see all the different features in it. But basically it's a study aid, practice aid. As it says on the strapline, it's a scale calculator software for guitarists. So the way I intend it to be of use to guitarists is to help you visualize where the notes of a scale are. When you're first learning guitar, you see scale box diagrams and chord diagrams and so on, and just learning individual scale boxes is all well and good, but the notes of a scale appear in various places on the guitar neck, so it's to help you break out of those box patterns and see where all the notes of the scale are, anywhere on the neck, and just help you get to grips with scales on the guitar neck more easily. And also it allows you to show the layout of a scale for guitar in like non-standard tunings. So if you're going into alternative tunings, it shows you how the notes of the scale shift up or down depending on whether strings are tuned a little bit higher or a little bit lower. So it helps you to reorientate yourself if you're playing in different tunings and whatnot. PhatPhish has been around for a while. I think it's probably about 11 or 12 years old now. It's been quite a long journey since the first version. I think we're up to version 1.9 now, and every release I'm adding new features, and often in response to requests from people out there who are using it. Don't know how much more there is to add to it. I've got a few ideas potentially for things to add into a future version, but yes, there's about at least 10. Maybe he's getting on for 12 years old now, so quite a mature piece of software. It does support instruments other than the guitar. It's aimed for stringed instruments. There might be a version in future that's based around keyboards, but for now it's based around guitar. What you can do is you can change the layout of the neck for if you want a 6-string guitar, 7-string guitar, a bass, or various other instruments that have other tunings. And recently I got myself that little ukulele there, tuned differently to the guitar, but I was able to put PhatPhish into ukulele mode, and I can see how the layout of the notes on the neck, how they're organised on a ukulele. So within reason, any number of strings, and strings tuned to any pitch. This is probably the question I get asked most often: is there an Apple version? Is there a version for a handheld device like an Android tablet or an iPad or whatever? Currently, no, there's not. I do get a lot of requests for a version for Apple, but for a whole bunch of reasons, I haven't had the opportunity to develop a non-Windows version of the product. What I have done as a bit of a sort of like a stopgap is there's a little web-based application called Guppy, link again down there, and that gives you, it's a much simplified version of PhatPhish. So there's a lot of the features in the full product that aren't in Guppy, but the idea behind Guppy is it's just accessible through a web browser. So any device that's got a web browser on it, you go to the PhatPhish website and use the Guppy tool, which allows you to just visualize scales and so on the guitar neck. The features like playing scales back and importing and exporting patterns and all that sort of jazz That's not in there, but as a basic scale calculator, there is something that's available to non-Windows users. It costs what you want it to cost. The model that I use for it is what I call donationware. So it's free to download from the PhatPhish website, link down there in the information section, and basically if you like it, I'd encourage you to donate. At the very least, register your copy so it helps you track how widely used PhatPhish is. And if you like it, if you get use out of it, you get value out of it, you can go onto PayPal and make a donation. There's a link for donations on the PhatPhish website. So if you're using it extensively, if you're a teacher and you're using it to support you with your students, it's probably worth more to you than if you're just using it for your own purposes, just practicing on your own. It's up to you. Whatever you think it's worth, I'd encourage you to make a donation through PayPal. Yes, really. There are a lot of people who, I think, download PhatPhish and use it but don't donate anything. Well, I guess that's always going to happen, but I kind of rely on people's good nature, and if they do think PhatPhish is worth something, go onto that link and make a donation through PayPal. All support is it's greatly appreciated. I guess one of the reasons why I like to make it available like that is because I want to help people learn to play the guitar. I want to help people become better musicians, and I don't want to price the software. Say, it's say, argument's sake, £50 or $75 or whatever. Just pulling a figure out the air to use this, and then somebody who's some kid who's just saving up his paper round when he's only just able to afford to buy a guitar. I don't want him not have access to the tool to help him become a better guitarist. So, he can only afford a couple of dollars or something, well, fine. I'll take a donation of a couple of dollars. And I've seen PhatPhish being discussed on a few online guitar forums and so on. Seen comments, people saying, "Oh, this guy should be charging, more for PhatPhish or whatever." I'm happy to do it on a donationware basis, but like I said, I encourage you, if you are using PhatPhish and getting value out of it, to consider clicking that link for the donations page. It supports loads of different scales. There's over 50 in the scale database. All the ones you'd expect, the major and the natural, harmonic, melodic, minor, all the modes of the major scales and the minor scales, pentatonics, blues scales, some of the more obscure Western scales like Neapolitan major and Neapolitan minor, exotic scales, geometric scales like whole tones and diminished, and getting into like Eastern scales, like some of the things you get from like Indian and Japanese music. So loads in there, and also there's a fairly comprehensive set of arpeggios in there as well. So all the basic triads, seventh chords, ninth chords, all the extended chords, and then the altered chords, like sharp nines and fives and all that sort of stuff. Loads and loads in there, and if you want to get to grips with what's in there, like I say, put a link to the playlist, which has got some PhatPhish tutorials which will show you how to get the most out of PhatPhish in terms of finding what skills are there to learn and to support you in becoming a better guitarist. I suppose it depends on what you want to get out of PhatPhish, how you use it to support your studies, but I always advise people to have a daily practice routine. And again, this is something I've touched on in another tutorial on the YouTube channel. Again, I'll put a link down there so you can watch that at your leisure. But there's various ways you can use PhatPhish to support you for your daily practice routine. I think first and foremost, giving you things to practice as you're trying to learn scales. You can use PhatPhish to plot out various fingerings for scale patterns on the neck. Use those. You can get PhatPhish to play the scale at various speeds, so you can start slow and build up as you get more proficient. Then have different practice patterns that you can play along with, and just basically use it to help you get more familiar with the way that scales or arpeggios are played on the neck. So yeah, PhatPhish supports like practice patterns, and what you can do is you can export these and you can share them as just text or little files you can email around or share with people. I've done a whole separate tutorial on that, so there's a link down there again. Explains how that works, but yes, you can create practice patterns and share them with other people and get patterns from people and import them into your copy of PhatPhish. So what's this? Yeah, PhatPhish Guitar Studio. Really, PhatPhish started off as a product, and then just grew and grew and kind of started to take on a bit of a life of its own. Then a few years ago started to share PhatPhish a lot more through like social media like Facebook and YouTube, and I realised there's more to it now than just the product and just the PhatPhish website. So there's quite a large community. At the time I'm recording this, I think there's about 7,500 followers on Facebook, and I do PhatPhish and just general music and guitar tutorials on YouTube. So there's various places where I can kind of share my my love of the guitar and my love of teaching and sharing information with people. And just realised it's more than just the product, so that's kind of where I started to brand it as like the PhatPhish Guitar Studio. It's all sorts of things about the guitar and ways that guitarists can interact by discussing things in the comments section on YouTube videos, or in conversations on the Facebook page or whatnot. So I'd encourage you, if you like PhatPhish, if you like guitars, if you like music, check out the PhatPhish Facebook page, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, and please interact, write comments on videos, join in discussions on the Facebook page. Interactive is good. So as well as donating through PayPal, there's other things you can do. There's a Cafe Press store, link below, where I sell various bits of PhatPhish merchandising. So if you want a t-shirt or a mouse mat or a PhatPhish mug or something like that, just show your love of PhatPhish to the world, you can get stuff there, and there's a little bit of the profits from that kind of help to support me in my development of PhatPhish product. Also, if you go to the PhatPhish website, there's a link where you can download posters or flyers. So if you've got a little guitar club, or you're a teacher or whatever, and you want to print out some leaflets to promote PhatPhish and whatever, please do that, and let me know that you're promoting PhatPhish as well, so I can pass on my thanks for your spreading the word. There's a few other bits and bobs that you might find useful. If you go to the PhatPhish website, on there you can click on a link that lets you download some things like tab paper and music staves and so on. And also I've got a little metronome application. I think every guitarist should have a metronome to help them practice, so follow the link down there to another little Windows application that I wrote as a metronome app, which you can download, and that one's again just free to download and use, and if you like, please drop me a donation, but again, there's no obligation. PhatPhish Featured Artists is something I set up a little while ago, just to try and give some exposure to guitarists who I think deserve a bit more time in the limelight. So I'll do a little video to go onto the YouTube channel, promote you through the Facebook page, promote you through the PhatPhish Featured Artists section on the PhatPhish website. So basically, anyone who's just doing good music, it doesn't necessarily have to be guitar based. If you're interested, there's a link on the PhatPhish website, a link down there. You can go and read about PhatPhish Featured Artists, and if you want to put yourself forward, like I say, it's a bit of free publicity, can't knock it. Yeah, just fill in the form and send me your details. If you like PhatPhish enough to want to share it, that's great. What I would ask you to do though is, if you suggesting it to people, point them at the PhatPhish website and get them to download PhatPhish themselves, rather than actually getting the software and just giving them a copy. Main reason for this is I can kind of track all the downloads through the website, so it lets me just know how widely used the product is. Nothing sinister. I'm not doing anything sneaky behind the scenes. It's basically every time somebody hits the download link, it goes into a log on the website, so I can see how many people are downloading the product. It's as simple as that. And if you actually give people a copy of the PhatPhish software, that user's kind of like hidden to me from the download count, if you see what I mean. Yeah, PhatPhish is designed to help people to learn the guitar, and I want people to become better musicians and better guitarists. So if you're teaching people guitar and you think PhatPhish is going to help you, yeah, please feel free to use it in your studies. Feel free to recommend it to your students. But as I said before about donations, if PhatPhish product starts to become more useful and more valuable to you, then please do consider making a donation to reflect the use and the value that you're getting out of the product. But yeah, no restrictions if you want to use it as a tool while you're in your role as a guitar teacher. So how to interact with other PhatPhish users? Well, I've already talked about this. I think the Facebook page link down there. I think it's great. I like the fact that we can have discussions, people from all corners of the world, through things like the comment section on YouTube or Facebook or whatever. If you're using PhatPhish or you just like guitars or you like music, please consider clicking on the like button on the PhatPhish Facebook page, or subscribe to the PhatPhish YouTube channel and post comments and get involved in the discussion. It's great. It all adds to the kind of the buzz around the product, if you like, for want of a better word. So please, yeah, do get involved. Yeah, if you think there's something missing from PhatPhish, please feel free to get in touch through the feedback link on the PhatPhish website. Suggest the feature. A lot of the stuff that's in PhatPhish now is in response to suggestions that I've had from people who are using PhatPhish, and it's because you are the people who are using it. How you think it'll benefit you, so you're probably best place to say, yeah, I want a feature that does X, Y, or Z, and or various factors permitting, I'll try and include it in a future release of the product. I've had a few requests over the years to make PhatPhish open source. For those of you who don't follow like software development community, the idea behind open source is all the program code that makes up a software product, the source code, is either what's called closed source or open source. PhatPhish is closed source in that source code for the product, I wrote it. It exists on my computer, and it's mine. If open source, the idea is you put the source code into the wider community, and anyone who develops software can pick that up and make their own changes. The reason I haven't made it open source is, to be honest, I don't want to. I've got a lot of emotional attachment to PhatPhish. I remember when it was a much smaller product. I've seen it grow over the years, and I'd like to try and to basically keep that control. I'm quite happy to add features in response to people, so it's not like I'm restricting what people can potentially do with it. It's just it's like my baby, and it's not something I'm really looking to put into the public domain right now. So now and for the foreseeable future, PhatPhish is going to be closed source. This is another question I get asked quite a lot, and basically it's just a stupid little play on words. PhatPhish has got lots of scales. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry. Okay, so there you go. 20 questions and answers about PhatPhish. Hopefully that's given you some insights into the product, and there's plenty of links down there for you to follow if you want to learn more about what it does, how to use it, how to interact with the PhatPhish community in general through things like social media. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in another video sometime soon. Bye for now.